Okay, welcome back to the 1090 podcast. This is the first podcast we're doing here, so we're double checking, making sure. Hey, you want to hear a story real quick?
Yeah.
So we go to Boston to record some episodes, and I think we recorded 4 or 5. We get back, we lose 2 of the episodes.
Oh.
Like, don't ask me how, we lose them, not good. No one's perfect, we're trying our best. So we're like, we obviously feel bad. And we've done like 150 episodes or something. We've only lost like 4. So like we have a good percentage, but like it does happen sometimes. Like a button's not pressed or just something so simple. You lose the whole thing. So we tell these people in Boston, like, we're so sorry. We'll come back. So we plan another Boston trip. We go back out and we're just having trouble finding a podcast studio that's reasonable with price. And so we keep changing the spot we're doing it. We're going to do it at the Airbnb that we rented out. And then like we couldn't get a late checkout and it's just not going well. So what we decide to do is we'll just drive to the person's house that we're interviewing or take an Uber. So we take an Uber an hour to their house. We set up our podcast stuff. We record the 2 episodes. The second one we're recording, we're literally done with the episode. We have we're doing movies, so we're literally like talking about the 3rd movie. We're about to wrap it up. Power goes out. The power goes out. The power goes out. We lose the whole thing.
Oh God.
Yeah, like you can't. Michelle, I'm so sorry if you're listening, but yeah, so that's like, now I just have PTSD. Like, is everything working right? So anyway.
Triple check everything.
Yeah, triple check. Okay, anyway, we're going to get started with obituary of your mom and then your husband.
Yes.
And we'll have a brutal episode today. Okay. And thanks for coming all the way from Arizona.
Of course.
You're the best. Yeah, thanks for being patient with us. Okay, here we go. Patricia Middlewart?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I can't read very good, so please correct me. Patricia Middlewart, 66, of Phoenix, passed away peacefully September 27th, 2018. Born July 8th. 1952 in Beloit, Wisconsin. She has lived in Phoenix for over 40 years. Patty received a bachelor's of science in nursing and had an avid career in healthcare that she cherished. She loved the Beatles, cooking, watching the Diamondbacks play, and spending time with family and friends. She is preceded in death by her husband of 21 years, Bruce. She is survived by her daughter, Kimberly, and son, Brian, grandsons, Gavin, Andy, and Ripkin. Granddaughters, Sloan. Oh, and we almost named Frankie Sloan. Oh. Sloan and Griffin. Brother, Larry. Many friends and caregivers. She'll be greatly missed by all who knew and loved her. Memorial service. What are some Beatles songs that she liked or you liked? I love the Beatles. I grew up on the Beatles.
Oh man, everything.
You have any Beatles songs on the top of your head?
Let It Be.
Oh, classic. Yeah. Come Together.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the first Beatles songs I fell in love with. That's cool.
I feel like between the Beatles and Rolling Stones, that was what we had growing up.
Yeah, you
always playing.
You were born in a good era of music, man.
Yeah.
Okay, move on to your husband.
Mm-hmm.
Cory Joseph Nocta.
Oh, you got it right. That's a hard one for a lot of people.
Thank you. Okay. Cory J. Nocta passed away peacefully on Wednesday, May 24th, 2023. He was surrounded by his wife, closest friends, and fire family. He was born on February 12th, 1983 in Phoenix, Arizona. He spent many years of his youth as a skilled athlete in various sports and continued to carry out his love of football while coaching his son's flag football team. One of Cory's greatest passions and career goals became true in 2018 when he became a firefighter for the Goodyear Fire Department. He was proud to serve his community, help others, and mentor in the Fire Academy until he retired in 2022 due to his progression of ALS. Some of our favorite memories of Cory include his fun-loving and jokester personality, but more importantly, his love and devotion to his family. Cory was a very involved father and was always present for children Ripken and Griffin and stepchildren Gavin and Anderson. Every morning as they left for school, he would repeat to them, "Be kind, be tough, be awesome." He was loved by so many and will be deeply missed.
Life's 10% what happens to you and 90% what you're going to do about it.
Welcome back to the 1090 podcast. Life's 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond to it. Kimberly, do you go by Kim or Kimberly or?
Kim's fine.
Kim's
yeah,
fine. 2023 for Cory. That's not too long ago.
Just over 2 years.
Yeah. I have so many questions about ALS and just the pain it probably was just to watch him. But before, like, where do you want to start, though, with the story today? I know we'll get to that, but...
I mean, I think since it's an opportunity to tell my story, I would love to kind of bring it back to more of the beginning. I was raised, I mean, thankfully with an amazing brother, and he's been such a huge support through all of this for me. But early on in my childhood, my parents were divorced, and it was heartbreaking to me because I was really close with my real dad. And he ended up just kind of bailing out on our family at a pretty young age. He was very verbally abusive, not so much to me or my brother, but definitely to my mom. He was very abusive to animals, and it was definitely hard to be around that growing up. My mom remarried to her husband, Bruce, who was mentioned in the obituary, and they were both very successful in their jobs and work, but he was very much a functioning alcoholic. And so growing up in that environment was very challenging in lots of different ways. He was also very verbally abusive. And there was sexual abuse for me. And that was very challenging to work through as a school-age kid. And then...
What was... I mean, obviously it's super challenging, but like what is challenging? Is it just because this is your caregiver and he's doing this to you and it's just super confusing?
Yes. And I mean, as a young kid, having to be interviewed by detectives and go through all of that, reliving the situation. And at that point, I was an early teen, and having to go through all of the questioning and then again, and it's not like it just happens one time. It's brought up multiple times. And then having my mom go from like being very protective and you're going to be safe and good to, I don't want to be alone and I don't want to divorce him. So we have to find a way for you to be okay with him being here in the house. And
oh my gosh,
it was
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it was so tough.
So how old are you and how many years? Oh man, I'm so sorry. This is awful.
I know. It happened when I was 12. And then at 14 is when I spoke up about it. And years moving forward into early teens, that she, just wanted to find, I guess, a way to make peace in the house. But there wasn't peace on my end.
Why is it so hard? Why did it take you 2 years to speak up?
I think because I knew it would disturb the household and the family, and I think anytime there is abuse like that, there is a level of like guilt or shame, like, what did I do wrong? Which as a child, you didn't do anything, of course, wrong.
I was gonna,
as an adult, I know that
for sure,
now.
yeah.
But as a kid, you think that way.
Especially like when you're getting questioned by cops, like
Yeah.
you're just in these settings where it's like, am I doing something wrong?
Right.
Like,
and
yeah.
I know that like he was an alcoholic. Had he been sober, I really don't think he would have ever done anything to hurt me, but it still doesn't take away the fact that it happened. And so,
sorry, can I ask some more questions?
Absolutely.
What's your relationship with him as this is going on? Are you putting on a show in front of other people? Are you ignoring him all the time? Are you I don't know what the word, like dissociating? Like you're not
I think a lot of that.
You're not even dealing with it.
I think I did have a few friends that I opened up to about it, and I was able to kind of take comfort in being at their house or getting away. When my mom had said, hey, he's going to be here living, it was like, can I please go live with my friend, like my best friend? And that was not an option. She didn't, agree to that. So it was, I felt very like forced and stuck in this household. And I just had to figure out how to survive.
Plus part of it is, you're so young. Part of it might just be, is this normal? Is this just kind of, I mean, how long did it take you to really learn like, oh, like that was so not normal and okay? Like,
I mean, I think more so into adulthood is when,
well, like,
and you have, I mean, it's not right.
Right.
You have your own children and you realize like, I would do anything to protect them from stuff like this. Right. And I know that, my mom was raised in a super abusive household, both like emotionally, physically, I think even sexually. So people try to do the best with what they have, but was
so true though. And like your mom doing this thing where she's trying to justify it so you guys can all live together. It's probably what she did her whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe, like, I don't know.
But I imagine so. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's the environment she grew up in. So she's like, you just have to deal with that for the greater, man, isn't it crazy? Like even the abuse, like it's just crazy how much we kind of, I don't know what the right word is, but kind of protect the abuser. Like we kind of, oh, it's so crazy.
Yeah. And I think to add to that, then her mom died when I was I believe senior in high school, right before graduation, kind of around that time. And that really spiraled her into alcoholism. And I didn't really understand how people could throw themselves into that until going through grief and loss myself. But I felt like we were always fighting for her to want to be part of her life or present or happy or excited things were going on. And she was so deep in her grief that she just tried to numb it all the time. And I understand more now completely. Yeah. But I think those events like back to back were so tough as a young woman to go through.
And if you don't deal with the first one, then when the second trauma thing happens, the wound of the old one, it's opened up even more. And now it's like you're double. It's really not good now.
Yes, very much so. She did thankfully get me into counseling and therapy. I mean, I feel like pretty young on and off from my parents divorcing and then everything that happened. I think some of it was mandated anyways, after, reporting the abuse. But, so I always felt comfortable, getting help from counselors and therapists through this process. So I think that was kind of a saving grace for me, through this process. But, as soon as I was old enough and secure enough financially, I moved away from Arizona. I actually moved to Boston for a couple years. I was like, take me as far away as possible.
Yeah, that's pretty far.
My dad and that side of the family were all from Western Massachusetts. So I moved out there, and I was dating a guy that I moved out there with, and we broke up a couple months into moving out there. So I was by myself in this city that I really didn't know a lot about, and I had to learn how to use public transportation because obviously in Arizona you drive everywhere,
no,
but
seriously,
they have it done and set up so well there. So I made some really, really great friends, and I just loved it. I had a great time. And it was fun to move away from home and just kind of check out.
Plus, it's Boston. Like,
exactly.
Did your boyfriend or guy you were dating, did he have like a good Boston accent?
Very much so.
That's so cool. Like, I'm so jealous of that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What else could you want? Why didn't it work out with you two? Like, what else could you want from a guy?
Well, those choices you make at 21. They change a little bit the older you get, but so I unfortunately out there I also had assault and rape from someone out there. And so it just compiled on everything that I went out there to run away from and escape. So I ended up moving back home to Arizona, and
sorry, can I ask questions about this? Or so what was that like?
I mean, I think as you can imagine, growing up and with everything that happened, it really strained how I viewed myself, how I viewed relationships and dating. And I just essentially was attacked by a friend of a friend of a friend kind of deal. And so it was another one of those situations where you feel like, well, I know what happened last time I spoke up about something like this. And so it really wasn't anything I spoke about for years to anyone because I just felt, again, that you go back to that like guilt and shame part. What did I do to make someone think that was acceptable or okay? And I know obviously that's not the case at all, but at the time, I didn't feel comfortable bringing that up really to anyone. And so I just ran from it again and went home because that was what felt like, I guess, the safest thing to do at the time.
So then you came back to Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just the shame and guilt of it? Why do you have that feeling, you think?
I don't know.
Because like from my perspective, it should just be at zero. Like
absolutely.
You should have.
And I mean, right.
But like with the car accident with my family, you would probably say the same thing to me. But for me, it doesn't feel that way. Like, oh, like what did I do to deserve this type of thing?
Right.
So I understand that feeling, but I guess I'm just trying to understand like why our brain does that to us to make us feel that way. Like I'm not sure where it comes from.
And I think anytime things are brought up around that topic, and I can't always speak, for anyone or even men, but for women, there is so much like guilt and shame associated with that.
And like the next guy won't want me if I tell him what happened with this guy type thing.
Right. And
like they won't love me for who I really am.
Right.
If they knew everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it was so hard to be honest and open about anything, more or less, like a situation like that. Now, at this point in my life, that's not a problem at all. I have no problem talking about it. But back then, I was so uncomfortable and worried about talking about stuff like that. So I just didn't. I just kind of buried it down deep. Eventually, I think in therapy and environments where I felt safe, I felt comfortable bringing it up, and then I was able to bring it up in relationships moving forward. But at the time, definitely not.
Oh, can I go back to your mom from childhood when she was like, hey, like, we're just going to live together?
Yeah.
What did that do? What was your relationship with your mom from that moment to when she died?
Well, I had so much anger and resentment with her for a very long time. And that was part of running away. I felt bad because I kind of left.
Because like you run away, you get raped. Who are you gonna tell? Who are you even gonna tell? Like I'm asking like why is it hard to tell people? Like, well, who are you gonna tell?
Right.
Is the other
Yeah.
and that's why I went back to your mom, because like you're probably not gonna open up to her. I mean, or maybe you did. Like, because I was
No,
like,
I
anyway.
didn't.
Back to the question. Yeah, like you resented her, and rightfully so. I would too.
And so when I came back to Arizona, it was almost like the timing was the universe brought me back, because not too long after I came back, she would always try to get sober. And she would have really bad DTs. So her detoxing from alcohol and seizures, and she would fall. And it happened to be my birthday weekend, and she had a fall, and she didn't tell anyone, and she had hit her head. And my brother and I were over there because our birthdays are a couple days apart. And I went to like kind of hug her, touch the back of her head. And she like screamed, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I look at her head, she's got this huge bruise, like hematoma on the back of her head. And I'm like, Mom, this is bad. Like, you probably need to go get this checked out. This is so bad, and it's swollen. And she's like, I'm fine. And that was on a Friday. And by Sunday, she was unresponsive. And she had a slow, like subdural bleed in her brain from that fall. And so instantly it went from this anger and resentment to she might die. So she spent about a month in the ICU. She had craniotomies and different brain surgeries, and they just were kind of like, you need to say goodbye. She's not going to make it through this. And she did make it through it. But she had quite a bit of almost like stroke-like residual symptoms. So right-sided weakness, her memory was poor. She had to basically learn how to eat and swallow, speak, all of those things again. And she didn't remember anything that had happened. And so it gave me this opportunity, and it was like, you can continue to hate her and be mad and angry and be full of resentment, or you can take this opportunity to wipe the slate
Fresh
clean.
start.
And she doesn't know.
That's crazy. Even if you brought it up, and she'd be like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
And so I chose to wipe the slate clean, and as best as I could. And it was such a relief to not be so mad all the time. And so I think that's what fueled me to keep going with it. So she needed full-time assistance and care. And my brother and I, neither one of us really could do that, being in college. But I ended up becoming a nurse like she was. So I felt comfortable being in that realm of taking care of her and helping. She was in a nursing home for about 3 years. And then we found an assisted living facility for her to live in, where someone would always be around to take care of her because she needed assistance with walking and everything. And so for those years until she passed away, I was one of her guardians, and medical power of attorneys helped, make those decisions for her and take care of her as well, but not full time myself. We had other people helping us take care of her.
I don't know how you just let go of the anger like that. I just have so much anger. But I don't, I mean, maybe Sammy can chime in here, but like, I don't think you would know how angry I am, like just looking at me, but like just so much anger all the time. And the story, it's like straight out of a movie, like literally lost her memory of the thing that you needed to talk about with her. So what are you going to do? And you choose forgiveness. But you never got like, I'm sorry. Like you never got that. And you never can't, it's impossible. to get that now.
And I think that's the biggest part with the grief of her, and was all of the things that I never got out of that relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
that was one of
continue,
them.
and you continued to put in, you looked after her, you put in, you were her caregiver, you showed love.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, I'm so mad. It's so awful what happened to my family. I'm trying to be like Courtney, like I'm trying to show love, but like so much anger. How, maybe you don't know how, but like, help me. How do I deal with all this? How do I just can't say it's okay. Like, it's like, yeah, it's fine that they're gone and I'm happy and it's fine. Like, and maybe those are two different things, but like, I can't let go of the anger. Like, I don't even know if I want to either. Cause like when I'm mad, like, and I'm talking to the anger part of myself, it's like, yeah, like, you should be mad. It's not like calming him down. Like, oh dude, like, you're not understanding this right. Like, I don't know if I'm making any sense.
Yeah, but. No, you are. And I don't think you necessarily need to or have to.
Yeah.
That was a really different predicament.
It is really different. Because there's no one for me to forgive. Like, it was just a sandstorm.
Right.
You're like dealing with your caregiver. Both caregivers really not doing good things to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think I just found other ways to make peace, in a sense, with what happened when I was younger. I didn't want to view life as like, I'm a victim or woe is me, because that is how I felt like I was for a few years, and I was so angry and I was so mean, and I didn't want to be like that. And so I found ways now for, like, I'm a labor and delivery nurse, so that's
what Courtney wanted it to be.
Oh,
yeah, she was awesome. A nurse, but she's like, I'd love to do that.
Oh yeah, I really feel like it's a great spot for me to be in, but I a lot of times can pick out patients that have histories of abuse, whether they've ever talked about it or because it's such a vulnerable time for them. And so I feel like I am able to step up and advocate for them in that arena so much better, because I know what that feels like. And I know that a lot of people go to like the guilt and shame part of it, and that you don't need to be, and to be able to talk with them about how do I keep you safe in this environment while also honoring whatever boundaries you have and things that you feel comfortable or don't feel comfortable with. And so I feel like I'm able to show up for them in the way that people didn't show up for me. And that has brought me a lot of peace. And I can't say that would work for everyone, but I feel really grateful for the opportunity to be able to give back in that way.
So what you're saying is you help people, charity. Mm-hmm. And that's so true, because that's what the podcast does for me. Like, it's one of the few times where I actually, feel good. Like, I can actually relate to these people. Mm-hmm. And I might not know what to say. I might not have the answer, but just the fact that I can connect with them on that level of pain means a lot for them, I think. And I appreciate that too. And that's definitely, I needed that reminder. I think helping people, man, that's the common thread that many people have sat down and told me, is try to help people. It's not about me. And that really helps with their anger. Mm-hmm. It helps with mine too, but it just comes back, later. But I do think charity's the answer. Both can exist,
right? You can be angry and want to hold the space for people so that they feel comfortable sharing about their grief and loss. Because there's so many people that don't feel comfortable with it. And
I don't feel like, that's part of the reason I had to start, is I don't feel comfortable talking about it. I don't really talk about it outside of the podcast setting. It's not like I'm walking the dog with Sammy and the neighbors, hey, my wife died. And it's like, it's not like you just jump into it. And so like, I think creating that space where you can just, okay, like, let's talk about it. Mm-hmm. Did your mom ever know Cory? Or
My mom did know Cory. So Cory and I actually grew up together.
Okay.
We went to high school together.
What high school?
Shadow Mountain.
Shadow Mountain High School.
And my brother played Little League with him. And so we kind of grew up as acquaintances and knew of each other, but we're never really close. We reconnected later in life. I was in a long-term relationship, actually, the dad of both my boys. And after we had split up, I was essentially like a single mom. I had 2 young boys, both with special needs. My older
Jesus
son.
Christ, Kimberly. Is there anything else that like?
I mean, I feel the same way. Okay.
Holy shit! Like, I don't even know.
I feel the same way.
Oh, that was. Tell me about Cory. Well, I was divorced before, 2 kids, both. Like, oh god, like.
But let me.
Oh.
It'll lead into some good before it's bad again.
Yeah. Okay.
But I had just kind of made peace that like I'm gonna be alone. Like no one is ever.
I'm gonna be alone.
Like no one is gonna want to be with me.
Yeah.
I come with a lot of baggage and many tough stories, and so I had sent him a friend request on Facebook, like people you should know, everyone from high school is popping up. So, it was funny. I was at work, taking care of this really sick pregnant patient, and I worked night shift at the time, and she had this pep talk with me, and she said, listen, you are going to find someone that absolutely loves you and adores you and doesn't mind being a stepdad. And they're not going to look at this as like all the challenging things that you look at your situation as. They're going to look at this as like such a opportunity and a gift. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. I was like, you're so sweet. I should be giving you these pep talks. You're the one sick. Why are you saying all these sweet things? And every time I'd go into a room, it was something along those lines. And when I got off work the next morning, he had sent me a Facebook message and never stopped talking from that point, moving forward. And it was really sweet. And so my mom, I think a lot of why she actually lived as long as she did is I do truly think that she was waiting for me to find someone that would be my person and would help take care of me and be there for me to support me and all of that stuff. So when we started dating, I think very early on, we knew we would get married. We were both just...
Yeah, how old were you guys when you started dating?
Like earlier 30s.
Okay.
And we just were very honest and open and like, this is all the shit I come to the table with. Here's your suitcase, here's mine. We had both recently, he had just recently been divorced, and I had recently, it had been a year or 2 out of the relationship. Our kids were almost the same ages. It was really kind of neat for them to grow up together. And I had never met someone that I respected as much as him.
Oh, yeah.
Truly. Like, he would say to me, I love that you absolutely don't need me at all. You choose every single day and you want every single day for me to be here, but you don't need me at all. And I was like, actually, I would really love to need someone and have someone like help me and be
no,
there.
he's right though. Like...
But I mean, I had gotten to that point where I didn't trust anyone. I fended for myself all the time. People just got to a certain point and I wouldn't really let them pass that, because then I would really have to be like, open up. I'd have to open up and be vulnerable. And I didn't feel that way with him. It just flowed. It was easy.
Yeah. Was it just a feeling you had, or?
It was just very easy.
Yeah. Felt right.
Mm-hmm. And so we got engaged at about the 1-year mark and then married the next year. So we were married in March of 2018, and then he was starting the fire academy in July of that year, which was super exciting. I think that was one of the best parts about the beginning of our relationship, was that I had my career in nursing and I was settled and I was in a good space, and he really wanted to get hired on the fire department. He was a little bit older, as far as age wise for being hired. So he was working hard to get hired. And a couple situations had come up where he had interviewed and wasn't chosen. And it was so disheartening to him. And I would always say, like, listen, this was not meant to be. These are not your people. Your people will not pass you up. Like, they will know when they find you. And it wasn't long after that he interviewed with the Goodyear Fire Department and was hired with them. And it was such a different experience with them. He just loved and respected that they didn't just care about physically he could do the job. They cared about his character and who he was. And they wanted to make sure that he would be a good fit with everyone that worked in the department. And he was like, it just meant so much to him to be such like a well-rounded hiring process, and that he passed all the tests and made it. And obviously at the time, you think these people are great, but you have no idea how important they're going to be to you when 6 years later, they're the ones holding you up and praying over your husband as he's dying in your living room. And so my gratitude to them is off the charts.
When did he get diagnosed with ALS?
So he was diagnosed in October of 2020.
So he's been working about 2 years as a fireman.
Mm-hmm. So he was starting the fire academy. I'll go back a sec. In 2018, he started the fire academy in July, and my mom was put on hospice at that point because her health was declining. Basically, just complications from the brain injury, and she had early onset dementia, Parkinson's, and so. I knew with our family dynamics and him starting in the fire academy, my brother has a family with young kids, that we were going to need help, which is why I had hospice assist with it. So there were all of these big things happening in this year. And then she passed away the end of September, and it was pretty much his last month of the academy. And I had so much anticipatory grief. Yes, for years.
Oh, wow.
I knew.
Anticipatory grief.
I knew that this time was going to come at some point.
But it still didn't help, huh? Like when she died.
No, I thought I was going to be fine.
Yeah,
and
I
I
know.
thought, well, like, my brother's going to have a hard time with this, but I'll be good.
Yeah.
And I was leveled by her death. Like, could not function. And even though I had found so many women in my life to like fill in that mom role that she never was, every job I worked, every close friend group, I would always seek people to be that mom for me.
Yeah.
It just wasn't her, right?
Yeah.
There's that different connection with the woman that gave birth to you. And it wrecked me. And the timing was terrible because he had to finish the fire academy. And it's not like, oh, I can just take time off to take care of my wife who is, a puddle on the ground.
Yeah.
Like, that couldn't happen. And he was the one person that I wanted to be there for me. So I kind of just had to pull it together for a bit and get him through the academy and get him working. And then I felt like I could kind of fall apart. But still, I needed support and help, and he really could not be at the capacity that I think he would have wanted to, and that I definitely needed him to be. That first year of being a firefighter, I call it like your booter year, your probation year, is a lot. It is so demanding. And it was this balance of trying to honor my grief and trying to honor this job that he has worked so hard for, and just absolutely so happy to be a part of that world. It was very tough. I kind of threw myself into grief support groups. I would anything I could find online. I would go in person to these groups. they were tough because a lot of them, it was older people that had lost their spouse. And so it was different grief than they had.
A little more normal. I
Like,
don't know if that's
just,
the right word, but
like,
yeah.
just different from
That's
them.
kind of the life cycle grief.
Yeah.
Not that that's not sad,
but age appropriate,
for sure,
right?
yeah.
That you think like, and it's just different from losing a parent. And so I did end up getting to be part of a motherless daughter group, which was put on by the hospice. And it was wonderful. It was really, really helpful to like go through and honor. And they talked about all the things, like, what are the things that you never got to have with your mom that you wish you had? And it was a safe space to like let it all out and talk about it. And I felt like I got to a pretty decent spot. And then at the 1 year mark of her loss, it was like a huge revival of it, which a lot of people talk about that, obviously, in loss. And with her, for sure, it was like it started all over again.
Well, and that little girl that was hurt by her from your childhood never got, like when she died, like she never got the closure. Like that little girl is hurting inside you still.
Yeah.
Because what do you say to her? Like, she's gone now. Like, we can't even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I ever would have really gotten anything right.
Right.
Because she wasn't mentally in the space. So there was just kind of a level of peace in this grief I had to make with, I don't think that her intentions were ever malicious or, to hurt me or to leave me wounded like this for a lifetime, but it was what I was left with.
Yeah. And I mean, and there's just so many levels to grief. Mm-hmm. That's just probably one of them. I mean, there's so many other things you're grieving with your mom, but I do think that's part of it.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah. So I stayed very involved in therapy and counseling, and I got myself back to a good spot, a decent spot, I feel like.
In air quotes, whatever that means.
I mean, I could function better. I could work. I had focus again.
Like your mom was a functioning alcoholic, or your dad was a functioning alcoholic. You're a functioning grief person. You're able to function with grief. Right. And some people, you lay in bed with the grief.
Right.
I think it's different.
And I did. I definitely had times of that for sure. But I think the second year after losing her, I got back to a better space because it made me work through a lot of things. The grief support and the therapy and everything that I did after her loss really, it made me like talk about and learn about and be vulnerable and open about any and everything. And so I felt like, okay, I can do this. Like keep trucking. And it's busy. I have a husband that has 48-hour shifts. And so he would be gone, and then I would be working at the hospital when he wasn't working. And so there's a lot of like coming and going and keeping the kids busy in their activities. And, still we're early in our marriage and learning how this blended family works and all of that stuff. And then 2020 with COVID and everything like that. And so working in the hospital, I mean, it was every shift, every day was different. There was a lot of like unknown, and same for him in the fire department with seeing patients, out in people's homes and transporting to the hospital. Like there was just so much stuff. And then spring of 2020, he noticed at the fire department that like his left foot, his left toes, it was hard to put his socks on. Like they would be stuck almost. He was trying to put his socks on and they would get kind of caught. And he brought it up to me and was like, yeah, it's weird. It's almost like it's like weak or something. And then my left foot is weak, like a foot drop almost. And then he noticed that his left calf wasn't as strong. And, this whole time I'm like, yeah, we should go get it checked out. We should go get it. And he was like,
you're just getting old. You're old or whatever the jokes are.
And, guys are funny in that way. They're like, I'm fine. So you're just like, okay, well, I'll wait until you will let me make a doctor's appointment and then we'll go do something about it. So probably about 3 months into that, he finally was like, okay, like something's wrong. And I think because he could see the muscle wasting away on his left calf, he was like, it looks smaller. And for like a big muscular guy, he was just kind of like, yeah, something's wrong. So, my primary care doctor was phenomenal, and he wasn't taking new patients, but I asked if he would take Cory, and he had taken care of my mom for years. So he had like a special place in my heart, and he was like, sure, I'll take care of Cory. So he got Cory in pretty quick. He drew a bunch of labs just to rule out weird disorders and things that could cause this. And those all came back negative. So he got him in with a neurologist, like ASAP. And the neurologist, they felt like, oh, it's probably a pinched nerve or something, like L5S1. That's usually where you have that left leg, the left leg's affected by it. So it's probably, something from all your sports, an injury from something like that. And so he had an MRI done, nothing. And very early on in this, he was like, I really hope this is not ALS or MS. And I'm like, you're crazy. There's no way. Like, you're 37, no, it's not this. But he just went to that space with it. And I don't know, maybe I couldn't entertain it. I just was not going to believe that. But the MRIs were good, other than like, hey, you have arthritis and, you're close to 40.
Cholesterol is getting a little high.
This is the stuff we expect. So the next step was doing an EMG, which was a test of your muscles and nerves. And he went to have that done. And if you had wanted to have a second opinion, neurologist-wise, the doctor that did this test was the doctor that you would want to see. And he performed it and got back to Cory's original neurologist pretty quickly. So they moved up Cory's appointment, and he's like, this is not good. Like, they're getting me in quicker. What's going on? And so he went to the appointment, and I was like, hey, FaceTime me. I want to be there. I was at a therapy appointment for my oldest son. He was at occupational therapy. And so I was waiting for him to call, and he didn't. And then he called me from the appointment, and he was hysterical. And I'd maybe seen him shed a tear or two in our years together, but like really had never cried like that. And he finally could calm down enough to say, Kim, it's ALS. They diagnosed me with ALS today. And I just thought, like, what the fuck? Like, after all of these things, like, I finally
find this guy,
find this wonderful
that I respect
person that I absolutely love and respect and adore, and you are going to take him away from me. Like, yeah, I honestly was like, well, you better take me with, because there's no way I am going to survive through this situation.
And here you are.
And here I am. So it was tough moving forward, obviously, because you have this diagnosis, but you can't really share it yet.
Yeah, and it sounds like it was, but it's a death sentence, basically, when they tell you
Yes.
that? Or is there any... Okay.
No.
Yeah,
so ALS, there's no cure.
Because I know with cancer, it's like, well, we can fight it or we can try this. But ALS, it's like...
So ALS is a neurodegenerative disorder. So basically it attacks your nerves and your muscles, and they essentially waste away. So you lose function, walking, talking, eating.
How quickly do they drop?
And that is
health?
what varies quite a bit. There are different types, and in the sense of like how it sets up. Every person kind of presents a little bit different. He had what they call limb onset. So he had that left leg that was affected first, and then it went to his right hand.
What were we talking about? It started in his leg.
Yeah, so it can vary. He had limb onset. So it started in his leg, and then left leg went to his right hand. There are some people that present with bulbar ALS, and that's more of their like swallowing, speech, more like upper facial presentation. And it's just quite a few cases of ALS are sporadic, meaning there's no genetic reason, they just happen. They see it higher numbers in veterans. He was not a veteran, but they see it a lot in really like healthy, fit people. And they mentioned in his diagnosis, they call it the like nice guy disorder, that basically the kindest, best people are the ones that get diagnosed with this disease. And it was very true in his case. And we were in a weird predicament because he still was doing okay. He just had this weakness. Like he could do his job. He could walk.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, what, I know he cried to you on the phone when he told you, obviously, but like, what was his demeanor and mindset and body language like going through this thing?
He said, I know I'm not going to survive this, but I will absolutely die trying. And that's kind of how he went through all of this. There's so many tough talks you have to have with a diagnosis like this. And he was very adamant, as I'm sure a lot of people would feel this way. When you've been an athlete your whole life and you're a big, strong guy, you don't want to waste away and live in a predicament where someone has to take care of you 24/7. That was his feeling for sure. And I told him early on, you don't have to make any decisions right now, but I will honor whatever you want. A lot of people with ALS end up having feeding tubes, trachs. They are wheelchair bound. They need 24/7 care. And he said, that will not be me. I don't want you spending your time doing that. And I was like, the last person you need to be worrying about spending my time is me doing that. I will do absolutely whatever to have more time with you. But if you don't want that, I will not put you through that. So very early on, he said, the only thing I am willing to do is a feeding tube. I'm not doing anything else. And I said, okay, at any point you change your mind, I will do whatever. We will figure out a way financially. We will make it work. And he stuck pretty true to his word. That was the only thing he did. Moving forward after the diagnosis, like he was still able to work, because he was able to do the job. But as it started impacting his balance and different physical abilities, that's when he had to be more honest and share, because obviously he would never want to harm or injure anyone else when you're, serving the public.
Yeah, you don't want to be the weak link, so you don't want to talk about it, but then there gets to a point where, like, I can't go with you guys anymore because, I don't have the strength anymore. Yeah. And so he's almost forced to tell him. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he was able to work more of like admin duties and do things to still be around and stay involved, but not on the truck. And it was just like, he had just gotten to such a good spot in his career.
Probably broke him.
Oh, it was heartbreaking to watch someone get this career of their dreams and then have to like slowly let it go.
And totally outside their control. Like, he got AL. Like, it's not like he made a bad decision. No. Like that's one of the things that makes it so terrible too. And you said he was just such a good guy.
Such a good guy.
All the best people get this disease.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever think about, other than, I'm sure you joked about it, maybe some dark humor, but anything? Did you ever think about suicide, assisted suicide, or like, let's just watch me suffer?
No, I mean, we talked about, I think, how we would care for him as things got really bad. And one of the problems with ALS is it is such an uncomfortable death because you're essentially dying from respiratory distress.
I mean, that's why I brought it up. Like,
Yeah.
you know, he's gonna die. He's going through so much pain. I just wanted your thoughts and opinion on not only on what you guys did, and then like just your thoughts on assisted suicide and that level of pain.
I completely understand in why it would be an option for people, and I'm not against anything like that, and I don't think he was either. I think our approach was, we'll see how this goes, and I think, I mean, I hope that he died comfortably. He you know, as the disease progressed, he had a BiPAP machine that he would use for to help, not really so much with breathing, but kind of opening up those airways and forcing air in, because your drive to breathe and your weakening diaphragm and all that makes it tough. So he had different kind of assistance along the way, but it was really probably like the last 2 weeks of his life that he got really uncomfortable. Up until that point, most of the stuff we were able to manage pretty well at home. We had a really great team. The doctor that ended up being there for his EMG was one of the doctors that ended up managing his care. And so the hospital system that I work for, but also the location that's right by our house, they had an ALS clinic. So you would meet every 3 months with this team of people, and they would address everything from, you know, physical stuff like PT, OT, speech. So anything that you were struggling with or you needed, they helped with. And I feel like they did a really good job of keeping him comfortable, managing pain that he had so he could still function, because I felt like I was on this race to like have him live as much as he could in these few years that he had left. So I think even at the end, we were able to keep him pretty comfortable.
You like the abuse as a child, the abuse in Boston, your mom dying, and now this. Like, what the fuck? Like, you said, like, why do you think this happened to you? Like, how do you like, what's all this? I don't even know what I want to ask you, but like, you've just been through all this. Why? What? And you're cold-blooded too. Like, you've just been through so much shit. Like, yeah, I was there and I got raped, and then I just came back to Arizona, and then it's just like, holy shit.
Talked about it, so I can be a little bit more comfortable.
I don't even know. I just like, I don't know a good question to ask, but like, yeah, what keeps you going? How do you deal with this? How do you deal with the anger? How do you deal with the anxiety of, oh, okay, if I do find a decent guy again, because the shit you've been through, like, good luck. Like, okay, if you do find a decent guy, how do you know he's not just going to die again? Why should I open up? Why should I want to fall in love again? Like, what? You just keep getting, like, what are you doing with your life?
I think, there's been plenty of times that I'm just like, well,
you almost have to laugh, honestly.
Yeah,
like,
I don't.
And then, like, how do you deal with people that are like, oh, like, I didn't get into the college I wanted, or, oh, how do you deal with those people?
I always try to go to, like, this isn't a pissing contest of whose life is worse, because your worst thing is your worst thing. And so, do I feel that way? Absolutely sometimes, but I do try to not say that. I think for me, like, all the things that I was so worried about, Cory helped me heal so much of that. Like, I never thought someone would be like okay with marrying me, and I have these special needs kids, and they're a lot of work, and there's all this stuff with them, and, you know, I have all this history, and he was like, hey, I don't know anything about autism. Like, teach me about autism. Like, let me help support Gavin better.
Yeah.
And I just was like, oh my God, like there will be people that are strong enough in this life to help you and to show up for you. And they won't look at this all as such a burden. You know, it was like an opportunity for him. And then he was able to use, like, for instance, with my son, he was able to help on fire calls with kids or adults with autism and teach his coworkers how to work with them better. Like, he always found a way to, like, find the good or do the good in a situation. He had such integrity. And I think that's the one thing that so many people were so drawn to him about and loved him. And so it makes me want to live that way. Like, I'll never find, you'll never hear me say like, oh, everything happens for a reason. And no.
Thank you.
I mean,
I hate
there might be certain things like, but this absolutely not. But on the flip side of it, like, he showed me that I could trust people. He showed me what, like, true love and devotion was. He showed me that I could be safe, I could be protected and taken care of, and that not everyone was going to hurt me. He showed me that I had value and worth and all of those things that I never felt. I mean, I was a good faker, but I never felt that before. And so that was such a gift. That was part of being married to him. And even being his friend, I'm sure a lot of people would say that about him, but I think that's how. I hope that I can honor him and show up for other people in those ways. He was obviously a very physically strong person, but he was a very mentally strong person. And I mean, I must be in some capacity too if I'm still standing here, but it's one of the big driving forces for me is to show up in that way with every situation. Have the really tough, vulnerable, raw talks, and to not settle in my life anymore. I settled so much because I didn't feel like I deserved anything good. I'd never had anything good. I've never had any really reason to believe that I did. And I would think that was a big, big part of him being placed in my life is how he helped heal me.
I can relate to that so much with just Courtney being the type of person she was. Like, I think that's part of grief. You just try to be like the person that you lost. Like, you try to be like them, and that's how you feel close to them. And you're so right. Like, finding Sammy for me, like, because I was like you, like, no one's gonna want, like, when my mind's occupied by another woman who's dead, and my kids that I had with her, and my brother, and my, like, no one's gonna want that. And you're so right. Like, Sammy, she's like, I think it's not good, obviously, but like, you have a lot, because of what happened, like, you have a lot of qualities that, like, you're not a chore. Like, I actually love you, and I actually, everything about you I love. So the grief I love. And she has to, like, kind of absorb some of the grief with me, which, like, who wants that? Like,
well, I think it takes a really strong person to sit in that space.
And I think you said it's like this, I don't know if you said true love or this type of love. And it's so true. Like, yeah, like, I never saw this type of love in this way from Sammy, being able to love me in blue like she does. And I think that's, you said it, like, you can't do it alone. Like, you can't cross the river of grief alone. You got to link up with some people. And Sammy's definitely that for me in blue. And that's who Cory was for you, but then he died. And then, I mean, how many kids did you have after Cory died?
How many kids?
I mean, because you joined the kids, so, like, Or
So,
what
and
was that like?
I think that's one of the hardest parts of this is that we went from a household of 6 to a household of 3. And
So you kind of
and
lost the
so there was
kids.
huge loss with not
Yeah.
being, we really don't get to spend much time with his kids anymore. And that was another big part of this loss.
How old are the kids?
So my kids are 15 and 12. And his kids are 15 and 13. And
Man,
so,
you don't get to see each other as much. That's
yeah.
so
And so we
cute.
had, it was so fun growing up
Yeah.
with them to be so similar in age. But yeah, I mean, it was a huge loss for my kids because, you know, they shared bedrooms 50% of the time they were together.
Yeah.
And, so just learning, I mean, I kind of knew that would happen, but just learning how to like start a whole new life, which is such a common,
Again, for you, by the way, like,
yeah,
not the first time you're going to do that.
right. You know, learning how to start over in that way. I mean, when he died, I laid on my couch for 2 months. Like people were like, I've never seen you sit down for more than like 30 minutes. I could not get up. I was so exhausted. And then I'm sure you felt the same, like physically, emotionally. It was such a big hit. And I think another big hit through this that I didn't expect is I lost my very best friend. She could not hang in the grief space, and I did not expect that at all. 18 years she had been a best friend, and I mean, like, this is the person in my trust and my will after my husband kind of friend. Wow. And she could not hang, and I just didn't have it in me to fight with people, to want to show up for me. I was like, you either do or don't, and I can't make you want to be here if you don't want to be here.
No, I think one thing I've learned from interviewing people is the circle that you're in after grief or during grief gets a lot smaller, but it gets a lot stronger too. Yeah. Like, but you will lose. I've lost people like that too, and they're so uncomfortable in it, I think, and they don't know what to say, and they just, because they don't know what to say, they don't say anything for so long, and then it's been 6 months, it's been a year, and it's like, well, I'm not saying anything now, and you just don't, it's over. It's like, oh.
Yeah. And I think that's such a big part of like wanting to come talk about it is I want to give people that permission. Like, talk about it. You're not going to remind me that Cory died
Cory
today.
Yeah, Cory.
I remember every single day when I have this empty house or the different reminders, like every single day. Like, and you don't have to have the right things to say. Sometimes just being present, being around. I think,
like, can I give you a hug? I'm thinking about you. Yeah. Sorry, life sucks.
Yep. And that is, and very much how I try to show up for people going through this stuff since I've been through this is like, I don't have anything to make this better. I wish I did, but I'm here.
Yeah, you just hug them and cry. And
I'm here, and please, like,
usually don't say anything. You just look at them and they'll say something or they won't. You just hug them and then you leave and someone else will come hug them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think back to your question earlier, another point I really wanted to bring up was about like dating or how you do that stuff moving forward. Like, obviously it takes a very strong person to be with a widow or a widower, because it's not like you went through a divorce and you're like, whatever, I don't like this person anymore. Like, you adore them. You would be with them if you had that opportunity. If they were still here. Forever was not enough time, and you got gypped from all of this. And so I think the only way for me to view that is if someone is meant to be with me, then they'll be able to hold that space. But the bar is set so high. He was such a great person that I won't settle anymore now in this space. And that was one of the best gifts that he
you
gave
needed
me.
Cory. You needed someone to show you, like, there's guys out there that will treat you right and will love you the right way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and show up in that way. And one of his best friends, this is also such a gift that people can give to widows or widowers. One of his best friends at about the 2-year mark, because we try to have parties. And that's like his celebration of life was a party. Every year on that death anniversary, we have a big party or get together. And he sat me down and he was like, hey, we're at the 2-year mark. Like, you don't need our permission to date or do stuff, but like, we very much want you to know that like, we love you and we want to support you on this. And we want to be part of it. We want to be part of how you move forward. We know you're not moving on. We know you're not like forgetting about Cory. Like, he is part of everything with you. But if you'll let us, we want to be part of it. And it was so meaningful and so important to hear that. And I know I didn't need permission from anyone, but also it is such a tough thing to navigate. It's so scary to think about it because everyone has an opinion on
everyone
how you move forward from loss, and the only person that needs to be okay with it is you. But you also don't ever want to feel like it's disrespectful to the person that you lost. And so, of course, my girlfriends and close friends were all very, very supportive of that. But to hear it from his best friends was so meaningful.
Yeah.
And, he was like, he talked to us about this. We talked to him about this. Like, I just didn't know when the right time to bring this up was, but I want you to know this now. And that is such a gift, because the thought of losing any of them or any more people is terrifying. And I realized it when he brought that up. Like, I'm so thankful that you said this to me. It means more than I could ever put into words.
Yeah, when Courtney's family was like, yeah, like, we understand that you're gonna date again and you're gonna love someone again, and Blue needs a mom, and yeah, it's just, even though it's like you said, like I already knew that. Probably, like, I'd be shocked if they're like, okay, like, you better be single for 50 years till you die, or whatever it is. Like, I already knew that, but that's the thing with communication. Like, just say the obvious thing. Sometimes it will do wonders. Like, tell them you love them, or like whatever it is. Like, and
it's hard to start it, but it's so important to do it. And it gives permission for that exchange of that,
because it does feel wrong. It does feel like betrayal. I don't know if just the way I explain it to people is like, yeah, it feels awful, but I also love her and know Courtney wants me happy too, but it's both. It just coexists for me. Like, yeah, it doesn't feel good all the time.
Right. I think you said something once in one of your podcasts. You said that you do better in a team. You're a team player.
Oh, for sure.
And I just love the way you put that, because I felt like after having that kind of partnership with someone, that made such great sense to me. And I mean, I'm older, but 43 is not that old. I have so much life that I didn't get to live.
You might be halfway. That's the sad, depressing thing of all this. Like, there's so much more life we both have to live.
And there was so much that we were supposed to do together. We had such big plans, and and it was so fun, that relationship.
And it was so guaranteed. Like, like, we'll just grow together, have the grandkids. So what are your thoughts on, because this really messed me up, so with Courtney, like, everyone has their person. Everyone has their soulmate. Yeah. I mean, we're soulmates. It was easy. And then she died. And then I fall in love again with Sammy. Mm-hmm. And so now I'm so confused, I'm just so confused. Like, so, and me and Sammy have talked. Like, I told Sammy, like, hey, if I die, like, obviously you can date and find love again and go for it and whatever. And it's just like, before, like, I just thought, like, no, like, it's me and Courtney. And now, like, well, if Sammy died, good chance I'd fall in love again. If I died, Sammy would fall in love again. So are there soulmates? Like now, I don't know how that works if there's a heaven, or maybe it's not anything like I thought it is, and we're just these energy floating around, and we're not in these relationships like we are here on planet Earth, and we're just these spirits, and or maybe it's just there's nothing and there's lights out. That makes sense to me too. I don't know, but like losing the person you love most, yeah, it hurts and all that stuff, but it was so confusing to me too. How do you manage those thoughts? Like when you die, like how is that all going to work out, you think?
I think it is kind of confusing, but I think it also varies so much per person. And I think the biggest takeaway, and not every widow or widower would probably feel the same, but I mean, I think it's just that reminder of like, you get one shot at this life. And I feel like it's fair to be happy and to want to be happy
and love
with what you have, right?
Yeah.
And like, partnership is such a special thing. And I would have never been able to say these words 10 years ago. I never knew that this kind of existed. But because of what you had with your wife or what I had with Cory, I think we know what you're capable of having in a relationship. And that is absolutely okay to want to have again.
I think
will it ever be the same?
No, I think you're right. And maybe this is just me lying to myself to make me feel better, but I honestly think like falling in love again honors them. I think because I feel so close to Courtney by being in a loving relationship like I am with Sammy, because it's so similar to what I had with Courtney in a lot of ways. Obviously, it's different too. Yeah. But like playing with Blue, that's a great way to honor Riggins and Frankie. And it's the same thing with a relationship. Like, I know it's so like, what are you even saying? And like, I get that it's so backwards, and maybe I'm just flat out wrong. But like, I do think trying again, like trying to fall in love again after your heart's been ripped out and you want to die, like wanting to do that again, I think is cool. I think it takes guts, and Sammy might break my heart, or it might go bad again, and I'm willing to go through that again because I think what me and Courtney had deserves to be had again. Like it was beautiful. Yeah. And that's how you honor it, is trying to have that again. And
I think part of that too is losing your spouse at a younger age. I could understand where when people are older, that seems so daunting and heavy at
for sure.
70,
no,
80.
Well said.
But
yeah, if your partner dies and you're 75, like that's
I can see why you don't.
Yeah,
I mean, I could see why you would.
But also, yeah, if you want to hook up again in your late 70s, great, go for it. Like pop that Viagra. But like, yeah, no, it's just, yeah, life, the stages of life when you lose loss does matter for sure. It does.
And I think part for me too is that I don't want this to be the only thing that defines me, because it has a big presence, like that widow or widower title.
That's the widow that lost her husband to ALS.
Yeah, that title carries a lot, and that is a huge part of my story because he changed my life big time. But I want more for the story. I want more for my life. And I know a little glimmer of what I'm capable of having. And I want that. And I think even if it never happens, just that drive and will to want that is part of that wanting to live again, right? Not just like, oh, I'm surviving, I'm waking up and breathing today.
No, for sure. I think it's part of acceptance. I think being happy again, falling in love again, that's acceptance. Like to me.
Something funny to add to it.
Yeah, go for it.
Cory used to tell me, if you try to date anyone, I'm going to haunt you. That's how I'm coming back. And knowing his personality, that was very much the way he was. So
did he tell you how he's going to haunt you at all?
No,
like,
but he was
flicker the lights, or
well, he does do that. But he is such a jokester, so it's very much like his personality. Like, but to hear his friends say that they had talked about it and brought those things up, like it obviously meant a lot, because we didn't talk about that kind of stuff. Like, I think I couldn't have those talks with him because that meant that I was like really accepting he was going to die.
Man,
And
yeah.
I knew it, you know, I'm a nurse. I get it. Like but it's your person. You just don't want to think that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so, it was meaningful to hear.
Both people you lost, like you had to watch them suffer. Like it was just this long, and then for both of them, even though you knew they were gonna die, didn't help you. Like it just ripped your heart out anyway. Because nothing can really, truly because because that's everyday life. We all know we're all gonna die.
Yeah.
Like we all have that knowledge,
Yeah.
but still, like when someone dies, it rips your heart out. Your mom struggled with alcohol a lot, with grief. After Cory died, did you numb it all like that, or
I did.
Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Absolutely. I drank after Cory died, and
alcohol is everywhere. You go to a restaurant, you want to drink.
Yeah.
On an airplane, do you want to drink?
Honestly, and I really didn't drink a lot at all in my life until like COVID and quarantine.
Oh yeah.
And then it'd be like, oh, it's at 10 o'clock.
We're going to
go sit in the pool with the kids and have, you know,
big day drinker during COVID. Yeah.
I mean, neither one of us really drank a lot, but we did definitely lean into it a little bit more starting then, kind of on and off. And so
were you a functioning alcoholic as well, or?
No, like I didn't really drink daily or that often until he died. And then when he died, I would say probably those first 4 to 6 months, I drank every day. Not like drunk, but I could not feel it at 100%. I had to feel it at 90 or 80%. And then I could like kind of manage or take on the day.
That's my mindset with marijuana right now. Like, I'm not getting into the cloud stone. Like, oh my gosh, is that Jesus over there? It's just more like, I can't feel this at 100%. Like, I need to lower this a little.
And I think, like, I did not want to go back to work. I didn't want to be a nurse. And none of it. But I thought this is the responsible thing to do, is to go back to your stable job and go back to nursing. You love your coworkers, like you enjoy that time with them. I had gone part-time right before Cory died. So I came back part-time because I was like, well, you can make it through X amount of shifts per month. And I'm glad I did, because after about a year or two, then I really started liking it again, and I'm happy. But it was very hard to hold that space for people when you have you feel like a deflated balloon, like you have nothing to give anyone. But probably, I would say about the 6-month mark, I was like, I don't want to turn into my mom. The part that I've probably struggled with the worst or the most is how I show up for my kids in loss and grief, because of having special needs. Like, they are intensive in a lot of the accommodations they need, and I felt like I was always such a great advocate for them, and I could do a lot for them. And after Cory died, I just felt like I couldn't do it. I barely wanted to wake up. I mean, looking back on it now, I realize like how dark of a place I was in, which I'm sure a lot of people feel after losing a spouse. But I wanted to be better, if for no one else, at least them, because I'm the person that
kids, man.
I know.
They'll bring out the best in you.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my reason too. I remember, because I had so much help. Well, not a lot of people had. The support I had was just tremendous. So I had so many people willing to look after Blue when I was just drinking and sleeping. And I remember I woke up one time, I'm like, I didn't even know where Blue was. I'm like, is he at my mom's? Is he at Courtney's mom's? Is Jordan out? Like, And that was kind of like my moment where like, I can't do this. Like I have to be a dad again for Blue. Like I can't just keep numbing out and not being present. Like and that's what I felt like not killing myself was good enough for the first little, and maybe it was for the first little bit. And then, kids, Blue, that was the main reason where I'm like, I have to change some behavior here. Is not good.
Well, I think my friends, I mean, I felt very lucky. They stepped up for me the first 2 months after he died. I had someone staying with me every day, and they created a schedule, and someone was with me every day. I did not want to be alone. And that's very weird for me because I'm very comfortable. I mean, here I came to Utah for the weekend by myself and hiked and did all these things.
Yeah.
But
Cory even said it, like, you don't need me. Like, you're an independent woman.
Yes. But I did not want to be alone at all. Yeah. And they really helped so much, especially with my boys, but like all the things, whatever it was, like they let me lay on that couch and zone out for 2 months. Yeah. Because I was just so tired, 2.5 years of like full-time caregiving, full-time working as a nurse, taking care of 4 kids, 50% of the time, running the house. I was burnt. So, after about that 2 months, I was like, okay, I can start doing stuff alone. And then about the 6 months, I was like, okay, I don't want to lean on alcohol like this. And I do not want to turn into my mom. And that was a big drive for me to like make sure it was on my radar and start working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about, get into before we wrap this up and get into movies?
I don't think so.
I don't want you driving back to Arizona and like, I forgot to say that.
I don't think so. I think, I guess one other thing, one of the big drives, that connected me with, your podcast. So the day that Cory was dying, we were in the hospital for like 9 days, and he was like, just get me out of here. And they were at the point of like, you need to have a trach and be ventilated. And he said no. So we went home on hospice, and he died like a day and a half later. But the last night before he died, he woke up. It was like 11 o'clock at night, and we had all of our best friends around us. He never really told me what he wanted, so I was just like, well, I don't want to be alone, so I'm having all of our friends around. But he woke up, and he wanted to pick songs to play, and so he picked Johnny Cash, "Won't Back Down."
Great song.
And then he picked 4 Metallica songs.
No way.
And so
that's great.
When I heard like you talking about that in the podcast, I was
Do you know the songs? Can I throw out some guesses?
Yes.
Okay. Nothing Else Matters.
He actually didn't write that one.
For Whom the Bell Tolls.
No.
Fade to Black.
No.
Master of Puppets. The God That Failed. Oh, he's older.
Yeah.
Okay, one. Justice for All. Ride the Lightning. Okay, I'm gonna get one. Hold on. Unforgiven. Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So I just have one of the 4.
So
Unforgiven.
This is what the playlist he put: Inner Sandman.
Inner Sandman.
Sad but True.
Oh, Sad but True is so good.
Holier Than Thou.
Yeah.
And Unforgiven. Yeah.
That's mostly the Black Album. Great, man.
So when I heard that, I was like, oh, I was meant to like.
Oh, it was like a good. Like I need to reach out to this guy.
Yeah. But it was such a gift to leave with all of us because. And
because he literally died. He died that night, or
so he. After that, he went to sleep and never woke up.
That's a pretty cool way to go out.
I know. It was really like it was so him too.
I hope that's me surrounded by a family listening to Metallica. Like, yeah.
Yep. And so like we all, have these songs saved in this playlist now, but we just kept him really comfortable. And this was like earlier when you talk about like keeping someone comfortable, and that assisting them. It's tough with ALS because they have a strong heart. It's everything else that's weakened from this disease. And so one of my very best friends, Christy, who I can never thank enough, she's another nurse as well. She actually took over medicating him, so I didn't have to be nurse. I could be wife at that point.
Yeah.
And he ended up dying the next morning around 11. And one of his very best friends, who was a firefighter he worked with, he flew to Arizona from California, and he waited until he got to him. He died about 20 minutes later. And it was a pretty good way to go out, though.
Yeah. Cool friend. You got some good friends.
Very good friends.
Okay, well, top 3 favorite movies.
Okay.
We'll end this thing. Do you want to throw out any favorites that Cory had?
Yeah, he actually, so there was this book one of our friends bought early on, and it's like dads writing about their life to their kids. So he wrote a lot in there for his kids, which I love that he did that, because it'll be really cool for them as they get older and get to go back and look at this. But he did have movies in there. And I would say for both of us, but for sure, like, I'll go number 3 would be Step Brothers.
That's so good. We just become best friends.
One of his stories he told me is when he was meeting all of his friends in the pre-academy stuff. He's like, Kim, I asked all the guys a really important question this morning. And I was like, oh God, what'd you ask them? He's like, well, I said, listen, this is going to tell me a lot about you as a person. So I need to know Talladega Nights or Step Brothers.
Ooh. That's a tough would you rather right there. I'll go Step Brothers.
Yeah,
though.
and most of them I think pick Step Brothers. And so he's like, I know I'm starting this academy with a really good group of people.
It was me and Johnny Hopkins blazing that shit up every day. You didn't smoke pot with anyone named Johnny Hopkins. It was me, Johnny Hopkins, and Sloan Ketter. I'm not calling him dad, even if there's a fire.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
All right,
Never
yeah,
gets
great
old.
pick. All right, any others?
In the book, he also put Terminator 2.
Yeah, I think that's coming around the corner for us in a couple decades with AI. Yeah, not good.
And Braveheart.
Oh, Freedom. Yeah, man, hell of a list. Okay, what about yours?
So I would say Step Brothers, definitely.
Oh,
That's been a good laugh producer through all of this grief. So I'm older. Goonies would probably be number 2.
Goonies is great.
It's very much my childhood.
Goonies is a classic one.
And then I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's called The Great Outdoors. And
yeah, I have. It's a comedy.
Yeah, and
it's older though.
It's older.
It
absolutely.
has the John Candy in it.
Yeah, and Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
So it very much reminds me of the good parts of growing up, for sure.
Yeah.
We used to go to this cabin in Pine Top in Arizona, and it's on a stocked lake, and the craziness that ensues in that movie very much reminds me of my brother. And now we bring our kids up there on this trip, and it's just full of so many good lines and classics. I love it.
Yeah, that's a good list.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks
and life's 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond to it.